imaginary mass that ranges across the great state of Colorado. Each year, two proud programs fight for the right to stand atop those great mountains.
I can't explain it. It's just a feeling that you can't really get in anything you do in life.
It's really just about history and all the games that other teams play, win or lose or draw.
Since 1893, this historic rivalry has been rich in tradition, embedded with desire, and has produced some of the best storybook moments in college football lore. A win would be the apex of an early football season, but a loss can sink a team to a non-returnable depth. Welcome to the 87th rendition of the Rocky Mountain Showdown.
A fitting way to come on the air in Denver. Larry Zimmer in his 41st and final season calling Buffalo games. For 3 years, the voice of the Rams. This is the Rocky Mountain Showdown. Ralphie leads the Colorado Buffaloes onto the turf at Sports Authority Field. The Colorado State Rams seeking back-to-back wins over the Buffs for the first time in 15 years. The University of Colorado versus Colorado State. Mile High in Denver, Colorado. And with that, we welcome you to the Rocky Mountain Showdown. With Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell, I'm Carter Blackburn. And around here, this is very much a rivalry game.
Yes, it is. All these guys know each other. They're from the same area. So because of that, tonight's game is just more meaningful. That's more emotion, more enthusiasm, and certainly more intensity. But more than that, both of these programs have clearly stated that they wanted to make a bowl game this year. And if that's going to happen, that makes tonight's game a must-win.
The Buffs got their first win last week against UMass, and they did it by running the football.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, they left Hawaii in a bad mood and seemed to take it out on UMass's rushing defense. Michael Atkins and Christian Powell led a rushing attack of almost 400 yards, and 5 rushing touchdowns. I think it's going to be important for the Buffs to establish that run again tonight, and last week's game certainly gave them confidence.
And when Colorado does throw it, they throw it to Nelson Spruce, who is now the Buffalo's all-time leading receiver. Meanwhile, for the Rams, the question mark before the season was quarterback. 2 weeks in, the question is at quarterback. Our VistaPrint player profile, the 2 Ram quarterbacks we expect to see.
We're going to see Coleman Key tonight. He'll probably take about 30% of the snaps, but it's going to be sophomore Nick Stevens that gets the start. Looked great in week 1 against Savannah State, but really struggled a week ago against a very good Minnesota defense. It's going to be imperative that Stevens gets some comfortability early on in this game to build some confidence.
The Rams All-American receiver Rashard Higgins injured his foot in the first week, missed last week against Minnesota. This is warm-ups. What did you think?
Well, he looked like he was favoring it a little bit to me, but hey, let's be honest. A player the caliber of Rashard Higgins, even his 80 or 90%, is better than most people in the country. The Rams offense would significantly benefit if number 82 can go tonight.
Mike Bobo in his first season as a head coach after 19 years at Georgia as a quarterback and assistant says the biggest adjustment, less time for grilling and fishing. Mike McIntyre, meanwhile, borrowed a line from Twisted Sister after another tough loss to open the year against Hawaii. His team, we're not going to take it anymore. They came out angry against UMass in last week's win. It is the 87th meeting between Colorado and Colorado State, the Rocky Mountain Showdown. For much more, here's Jenny Dell.
The Centennial Cup is up for grabs, and tonight is not just about winning a football game. It is about bragging rights in the state of Colorado. This Rocky Mountain Showdown is the oldest rivalry for both of these teams, dating back to 1893. It's also the most played series for the Buffaloes and second most for the CSU Rams. The longest win streak, well, that belongs to Colorado at 12 games, and since the Cup was introduced back in 1986, Colorado leads the annual battle 15-8. Guys, this is my favorite. 84 current players on the CU and CSU roster are from the state of Colorado. So, Carter, who is going to hoist this cup?
Good question, Jenny. Colorado State won the toss. Will received the opening kickoff, and it is Deontay Gaines, huge in last year's game in the return game, and he gets 2015 off to a terrific start for the Rams. A 52-yard return.
Well, oftentimes in rivalry games like this, the emotions are going fast, but you still have to be disciplined and stay in your lane. And clearly that time Colorado didn't do it, and the beneficiary was the Rams with great field position to open this game.
So what a start for Colorado State at the Colorado 44 after their turn from Gaines. And it will be Nick Stevens, the sophomore from Murrieta, California, who gets the start. Pressure off the edge. Stevens setting up the screen. Dawkins hit as he gets to the 41. Our Chick-fil-A starting lineups beginning with the first of the two Ram quarterbacks we anticipate, Nick Stevens, who played for Vista High School. The Broncos in high school, played in 2 state title games. Now trying to get it back together for the Rams. Pulls it on second down, and he is dropped by Leo Jackson III to make it 3rd and long. Let's look at the rest of the Colorado State offensive starters.
Well, Nick Callender's going to come in at that left tackle, but it's wide receiver Rashard Higgins, an All-American a year ago, led the FBS in yards and touchdowns a year ago. He should significantly help this offense stretch the field vertically.
Stevens, clean pocket, releases. Hensley makes the catch and fights to get right to the stick for the first down. Ulu Bode along for the ride.
Really impressed with Nick Stevens' patience in the pocket. There's a little bit of pressure there, but he throws the football accurately so Hensley can get it. He seems like he's got a lot more confidence there than he did a week ago. Plays like that can help a young quarterback out, kind of feel some moxie.
First down, Colorado State. Play clock winding down again. Stevens snaps it with 2. Hands to Oden on 1st and 15. Trying that left side of the line again. Let's look at the Buffalo defensive starters.
Well, for Colorado, sophomore defensive end Derek McCartney's their best defensive lineman. He's active with his hands, and he's going to lead a unit that has to be a factor up front today to win the line of scrimmage.
Stevens to throw. Rashard Higgins, first catch of the game with pad on the outside. Higgins was down before he fumbled the football, so it is a first down on the grab by Rashard Higgins. Football comes out, but Higgins was down.
Rolling on the field was the receiver was down by contact. First down.
Rashard Higgins there, and you see Ken Crawley, number 2, the defensive back, play off of him. That's a perfect route and adjustment that time by Higgins to take advantage of the soft coverage by Crawley.
Colorado State's first trip into the red zone on the grab from Rashard Higgins. That's Dawkins who will take it to the 12. Colorado State has been solid in the red zone through the first 2 weeks. Our red zone tonight brought to you by Verizon. 11 trips, 7 touchdowns. So right around or just ahead of the national average so far.
You get down into the red zone. This is a critical area. Colorado has to be thinking the first thing they've got to do is stop the run, but they've got to try and get some pressure, maybe bring some run blitzes, because they got to find a way to get themselves off the field here and force a field goal.
Dawkins behind the blocker. Peralta dances in, and the Rams strike first. Dalen Dawkins, a sophomore from Louisville, the Purdue transfer. The nephew of Brian Dawkins gets Colorado State started with a solid block from Nolan Peralta. Wyatt Bryan's PAT makes it 7-0 Colorado State. A 3-and-out the first time they touched it. But in the hands of Dawkins, 7 on the board now for Colorado State. 7-0 Colorado State, 10-play drive. Dawkins takes it in. Braxton Davis will kick it off for Colorado State. Philip Lindsay is back. It'll be a touchback. Buffalo football at the 25. Chick-fil-A starting lineup for the Colorado Buffaloes begins with quarterback Sefo Liufau, the junior from Tacoma, Washington. This is his second Rocky Mountain Showdown start. Last season, hot start, pair of TD passes to Nelson Spruce. Buffaloes led by 10 early in the third quarter and then eventually lost 31-17. Colorado says they are tired of letting games like that slip away. Take it from the 25. Shea Fields takes it on the toss. Fields behind Kelly on the outside, getting it into the hands of that playmaker, Shea Fields.
Colorado State's defense and the linebackers overreact to the run game inside, and this is a great way to be able to get on the outside and circle the defense. We talked about Shea Fields' playmaking ability, and we just saw it right there. They need to feed number 5.
17-yard pickup of the sophomore. Play action. Liufau steps and incomplete. Nelson Spruce covered up on the outside. Let's check the rest of the Colorado offensive starters.
Well, clearly Colorado's going to want to run the football today, but they've only had 2 pass plays over 20 yards. So I think that sophomore Shea Fields is their explosive playmaker. They have to try and push the football downfield to get him involved.
Liufau 15 interceptions a year ago, only 1 so far in 2015. The junior on 2nd and 15, hands off to Michael Adkins II, who gets to the 45-yard line. He had the big week last week. Davis and Januska bring him down. Let's look at the Ram D.
5th-year senior Kevin Pierre-Louis. He's a physical playmaker, leads the team in tackles. I think that this young man has to be a factor in the run and pass game today.
3rd and 7, Liufau has time. Now he tucks it. Scrambling, huge hit on the outside. Liufau fumbles it out of bounds, but he's a yard short as the Rams and Buffaloes exchange pleasantries. And now the Colorado State coaches will try and separate him on the sideline. Flags thrown. A huge block. Preston Hodges goes down. After the block from Lindsay, then Liufau goes down. Flags in a skirmish in the rivalry game.
Well, we talked about it being more emotional and more intense, more effort. We talked about that at the top of the show, and we certainly saw that there. But remember, there was a recent rule change that tried to prevent people from running to the pile and pulling people off. I don't know if that's going to take place or play a factor here, but let's see the ruling.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 74, offense. 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. The down counts, 4th down.
That's the only penalty called there on the skirmish, and it's on Alex Kelly, the junior center for Colorado.
Keep an eye on him. He's to the left of the screen there. There's nowhere for Liufau to be able to throw the football, so he tucks it and runs. I don't think he liked that hit, and there was a little bit of some business going on there afterwards. That's a nice, clean hit. But it's right here after Liufau tries to get up, and I can't see who the Ram was that tried to prevent him from getting up, but there was a little bit of flim-flarring going on down there.
Flim-flarring?
Yes. Let's look it up.
Kinney hits it at the 25. Hansley at the 27. Did we mention that the Rams and the Buffaloes don't get along on the football field?
Welcome back to Denver. The Rams are up by 7, and who doesn't love a little bit of popcorn? Well, the Rams launched a Heisman campaign over the summer for Rashard Hollywood Higgins with the slogan, Hollywood performances are best enjoyed with popcorn, and also had his 2014 accomplishments. Just for fun, let's take a look back at some other Heisman campaigns over the past 15 years. Missouri sent out a 3D Viewmaster device promoting quarterback Chase Daniel in 2008. Memphis uses die-cast race cars to promote running back D'Angelo Williams in 2005. And Oregon plastered a 100-foot billboard in Times Square of Joey Harrington. And guys, I got a little popcorn for myself down here. Rashard said Hollywood's going to put on a show, so enjoy the popcorn.
Nice. Now, do have to, of course, mention that none of those previous Heisman campaigns resulted in a Heisman win for those guys. The Hollywood nickname goes back to Youth League football in Mesquite, Texas, outside of Dallas for Rashard Higgins. On the screen, this is Cartwright, the tight end, diving to near the 40 for a first down. John Walker on the stop.
That was a great play, but a huge missed opportunity. There was nothing but green grass between two blockers in the back. There was only one Colorado defender, and he ended up making the play. Colorado State's going to go back and look at that and not be happy with themselves, let's say.
Nick Stevens, the sophomore quarterback, led the touchdown drive. Oden diving forward to near midfield. Jason Oden Jr. with Ryan Moeller flying in for the stop.
Just some great blocking on that left side of the offensive line. They are being dominant. They see something they like against the Buffs on that side.
2nd and 1, complete to the outside. Close to a first down. It will be a Ram first down on the edge. Olabisi Johnson, the true freshman from Lakewood, Colorado, makes the grab.
Tedrick Thompson was the first Buffalo defender there, but he missed the tackle because he didn't wrap up. Missed tackles were a big problem for this Colorado defense in their first 2 games. They're going to have to shore that up against the playmakers for the Rams.
10 minutes in, advantage Rams on the scoreboard. First downs. Stevens screen. Oden blockers ahead. Jason Oden Jr. wrestled down as he gets to the 41. Nice tackle from Awuzie, the junior corner.
I don't blame him for going back to this. I mentioned it a couple plays before. It was wide open. There's something that Colorado needs to do to be able to adjust. Maybe go some man coverage on the back so that they have somebody dedicated to take him, because there's just too much space out there and they can ill afford to give up a big play against this offense.
Rams are rolling, but they have had problems turning the football over. Oden hanging on to it here. He has fumbled twice in the first 2 weeks. Amazing 6 lost fumbles already in 2 weeks for the Rams.
You have to be able to protect the football. 9 offensive turnovers so far, and just a nice physical run that time by Oden.
Oden takes it on first down inside the 20. Touchdown drive the last time the Rams had it. Dalen Dawkins' 13-yard run. Colorado has only 1 first down in the game. 0 points. The Rams, if they can close this one out, double-digit lead early, but that's what the Buffs had last year and lost it. Rams have dominated their first quarter through the first 2 weeks of the season. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Stevens has to hurry to get the snap off again. Play fake. Stevens to the air for Higgins, who grabs it, stretches, touchdown. Rashard Higgins. Hollywood earns his popcorn on that grab. Foot feels a little bit better right now.
Yeah, that was a straight ahead route. He can't cut very much. He stops, but then he starts. What was so exceptional about that was his body control. He's got a tremendous catch radius. He tracked the ball exceptionally well, went up with those big hands and brought it down. That's a big reason why a lot of NFL scouts think he'll be the first receiver taken this year.
Wyatt Bryan boots the PAT through. A 14-0 start for Colorado State. Punch the numbers into the microwave. Get that popcorn ready for Hollywood. Rams up 14-0. 17 touchdown grabs a year ago. That led the nation. That was his sophomore year. That is now 2 TD grabs. Had one in the opener against Sacramento State. Missed last week, the overtime game against Minnesota. But Rashard Higgins thought that foot was good enough to go tonight. Ram fans are glad to have Hollywood Higgins out there.
And you notice that both of his catches tonight are straight ahead routes. One was a hitch and one was a fade. They're not asking him to cut and change his routes.
Braxton Davis kickoff through the back of the end zone. So the Buffaloes will get it at the 25-yard line. And Powell takes it on first down. Hold up the middle for a gain of 9. We check with Jenny Dell.
Just a quick update on running back Michael Atkins. He's currently on the bike right now. I'm told that his hamstring is just tight, but he'll be good to go back into the game, guys.
Thank you, Jenny. 119 rushing yards last week for the junior from San Diego. Powell takes it again, and there is just the second Colorado first down of the game.
And they did it because they ran back-to-back power plays to the right in a row. That's something that Colorado did against Hawaii. They established the run early and then got away from it. They have to keep running the football to be successful.
Reverse, Spruce looks like he wants to throw it. Downfield, incomplete, off the hands of Devin Ross on the throw from Nelson Spruce.
Devin Ross has tremendous speed, but that's the second pass I've seen him drop in these last couple games. I really thought that Spruce should have kept this. It's wide open if he wants to take it to pick up a first down. Now the pass is there as well, and in Ross's defense, it's behind him, and he's got to adjust and turn the other way right at the last minute. But man, I would have taken 6 or 7 guaranteed yards there. Don't get too cute.
Out of the backfield, Powell slips the first tackle out of bounds near the 40. And bring it back to the 41.
So Colorado with some success running the football. Then they try and get cute and throw a reverse pass. Now they're third and medium again. When you get away from the run, it's hard for the offensive line to dial it back up. Colorado State may want to think about bringing pressure here, because if they pick this up, this could put them into field goal range. But we'll talk about that after commercial.
The end of the first quarter. Media timeout.
Colorado State dominates 14-0. Can the Buffs have a response in the second? You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. This Rocky Mountain Showdown has a flavor of what they call clean, old-fashioned hate. Georgia versus Georgia Tech. Mike Bobo was a quarterback at Georgia, spent almost all of his coaching career as a Bulldog. Mike McIntyre graduated from Georgia Tech. In a rarely seen twist, he graduates Georgia Tech and goes to Athens to begin his coaching career as a GA under Ray Goff. So from Georgia to Colorado, the rivalry now between Bobo and McIntyre. And we begin the second quarter with a big third down for the Buffaloes. Lou foul hands off. Philip Lindsay turns the corner for a first down to the 30-yard line. The sophomore from Aurora picks up 10.
Just some great blocking on this outside edge. Look at Stephon Nimbot and the guard circle the defense there. This is just a quick hitting outside zone play. There's nobody in support. Enough of a block out there on the outside edge, and a big pickup and first down for the Buffs.
Philip Lindsay, nothing doing this time on first down. It's Corey James, the fifth-year senior middle linebacker from Del Rio, Texas, who steps into the hole.
You're Colorado State. You've been getting gashed in the run game between the tackles and on the edges. You have to start winning your matchups at the line of scrimmage. Now's the time for Joe Kowalik, Martavius Foster, and those good linebackers that have made a lot of tackles for them to show up and stop this run game.
Still 14-0 Rams. Second and long, screen batted down. Makes it third and long for the Buffaloes on their best drive today.
You got to remember, the first 2 drives only totaled 7 plays. They finally had some momentum going, and again, it's the administrative self-inflicted wounds by Colorado that is proving to be more problematic than the Colorado State defense is at this point.
Martavius Foster, junior defensive end, has been playing great. Got his hand on that last one on second down. So Seppo Lufau on third and long.
I try to pick up 10 or 15 here and get in field goal range. You don't need a touchdown or a first down here.
Lufau over the middle, finds the check down. Philip Lindsay to the 35. That would be a 52-yard, maybe 51-yard attempt for Diego Gonzalez.
That would test Gonzalez's leg strength for sure. Good tackling in the open field. They're going to go for it, and I think rightfully so. The problem is, with it being so long, if Colorado State can get some push, this trajectory of the football is going to be pretty low. But they're setting up the ball at 7 yards. Sometimes with long field goals, we've seen teams set up at 8 yards to be able to create another yard of cushion. But here Gonzalez is going to kick it 7 yards from the line of scrimmage.
52-yarder for the junior from Guadalupe, Mexico, and it is good. Colorado on the board. Gonzalez a perfect 5 for 5 to begin his Colorado field goal kicking career. So the Buffaloes get in the end zone. It's called back because of a penalty on the offensive line. Diego Gonzalez, 52-yarder, puts the Buffs on the board. Rams kickoff brought out by Deontay Gaines, who had the big one to start it. This time Gaines only gets to the 18. Faapito in at fullback. 1st and 10. Oden takes the handoff. Maybe a couple yards on the left side behind Callender and Golditch on the left side.
Been impressed by this defensive line in front seven by Colorado. They've been stout against the inside run here in the second quarter. They're going to need to be able to keep that up. They've been a little susceptible out on the perimeter, so they've got to watch that, get those safeties involved there. But inside, the Buffaloes have been stout these last couple series.
Got the big backs, Oden and Faapito. Play action from Stevens. Another deep shot. Knocked away, incomplete. Knocked away by Ken Crawley.
That was Joe Hansley that knocked that ball away because Ken Crawley almost had himself an interception. Remember, a DB and a wide receiver have equal rights to that ball. And incredibly, in real time on the wheel route, Joe Hansley becomes the DB and tackles Ken Crawley, who was in perfect position to intercept that. It's being a good teammate right there, partner.
I'm all about that.
I'll let you tell it.
Third and 8. Stevens over the middle, complete to Higgins, who takes a huge pop, but hangs on and motions first down Rams. Thompson delivers the blow.
Higgins is feeling good about what he's doing. He's lighting up. He's a big target, and that's an in-breaking route. It was rounded off, but again, there was enough of a cushion, and he's good enough of a route runner where he was able to run himself open for the big pickup.
4 catches, 58 yards for the receiver who led the nation in receiving yards and touchdowns a season ago. Bolitnikoff finalist. Stevens audibles into the draw and picks up a first down. A 10-yard gain for Nick Stevens on the scramble.
Looks to be cover 2 man under, so when the receivers run, everybody's got their back to the line of scrimmage. And it's just the parting of the Red Sea, and Nick Stevens takes advantage of it and picks up the first down with his legs. We've seen him make plays with his legs, and when a quarterback can run around and start getting blocks and start picking up first downs, he starts to get hot and feeling it, and Stevens is doing that.
Moeller, who left the game earlier, makes the stop. Stevens, deep shot for Higgins again, stretching just beyond his grasp. Akello Witherspoon, the junior from Sacramento. They're in coverage with Higgins.
Yeah, Akello Witherspoon, speaking of just out of the grasp, he was grabbing him right there to slow him down a little bit. That's a savvy move for a defensive back. But again, straight ahead speed, Rashard Higgins, if injured foot or not. Looks like their feet might have got tangled up and he tripped as he was trying to lay out for that football.
Only the 4th incompletion for Nick Stevens, and it's on the deep shot for Higgins.
2nd and 10 after an incompletion. Think and run for the defense.
Stevens now 3 for his last 6 after the hot start. Oden's 2nd down carry. Just over 5 minutes to go before the half. 3rd down coming up.
It's going to be a big stop for Colorado here. They can ill afford to allow Colorado State to get a touchdown.
I don't know why the clock stopped. That was a running play on 2nd down.
They had issues with the clock.
Clock should
earlier,
be running.
Potentially. I agree with you, partner.
No correction, no explanation. That clock should have been running the whole time. Stevens zips it incomplete. Boy, that is 4 seconds off the clock that should have been much more.
Well, and we know how important 4 seconds could be for Colorado with the way they lost that game in week 1 against Hawaii.
They would take 4 seconds back in Honolulu.
Yes, they would.
Wyatt Bryan on for the field goal attempt. So Gonzalez hit a 52-yarder for Colorado. Bryan, the redshirt freshman, on for 52 yards. And it starts right, stays right. Bryan misses the 52-yarder for Colorado State. So the Buffaloes are down 14-3, but they're the ones celebrating. Sefo Lufau is on the field, and he takes a deep shot on 1st and 10. Lufau airs it out. Shea Fields holds it in. Touchdown, Colorado. A 65-yard touchdown strike. Lufau to Shea Fields. We weren't sure whether Lufau was going to come back for this series for the Buffs. And he comes back with a 65-yard touchdown strike.
To the guy that we talked about in the opening lineup, Shea Fields, who had their big play explosive capability, and that's a great way to get themselves back in the game. Now remember, Colorado gets the ball back at halftime, so that was a huge, huge score for them.
Gonzalez PAT makes it a 4-point game.
Well, we talked about Shea Fields in the open, about how explosive he is. We know Nelson Spruce is a good possession receiver, but this is just one-on-one coverage. Great adjustment in real time, tracking that ball over his shoulder, and just outruns the nickel cornerback Tyree Simmons for a beautiful pitch and catch touchdown down the field.
We started playing this game in 1893, the first year of existence for what was then known as Colorado A&M. Back and forth last year. The Rams finished on top. It was Colorado State off to a hot start, 14-0 to begin. Colorado back in the ball game, but at the half, Colorado State a 14-10 lead on their rivals from Boulder, the Colorado Buffaloes. Jenny is with Mike Bobo.
Coach, you were just talking to the refs over there. What were you talking about?
It's not a big deal. I'd rather not say.
All right, we'll talk about some football right now. You talked about the importance of Nick Stevens getting off to a quick start. You did. It seemed the momentum kind of shifted a little bit, but get it back right there. What do you need to do to regain that?
Well, we just got to keep playing football. We missed the read on the coverage right there, and their corner made a great play. Our defense is playing outstanding. They hit one long ball, but we're playing hard. We knew it was going to be a 60-minute ball game. It's a rivalry game. They came to play. We'll be ready the second half.
Thank you very much, Coach.
That is the end of the first half with the score 14-10 Colorado State on Colorado. After the break, we'll send you back to our CBS Sports Network studio for the Verizon Halftime Report. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. One of our cameras briefly rode along with Ralphie and his handlers, but it's usually a bumpy ride with Ralphie, so running out, and it was Colorado State off to the hot start, a 14-0 lead on Colorado, but now it's a 4-point game as we get set for the second half. Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell. Last year was a back-and-forth game that the Rams won. This year, back and forth, who knows?
Who knows what's going to happen here, but this is why we love rivalry games, because it is back and forth. And in these games, it often isn't about making the great play, it's eliminating the bad one. But we did see some great plays. We also saw some bad ones in the first half.
One turnover in the game, that was the interception, but Colorado unable to turn it into points. So 14-10 Colorado State on Colorado. Colorado receives the second half kickoff. Braxton Davis kickoff through the back. Colorado football to 25. We check with Jenny Dell.
Just spoke with Coach McIntyre. He said they had to make some adjustments with their running back situation with Michael Atkins and Patrick Carr down. They're only down to 2 running backs currently. Said they need to play hard and convert those thirds down. But guys, they believe that their legs are fresher than the Rams right now.
0-1 this season when trailing at the half. Only one win in Mike McIntyre's 2+ seasons with the Buffaloes. come from behind in the second half, and now he's down to Christian Powell and Philip Lindsay at running back without Atkins and Carr.
Yeah, their legs are fresher because they've only had 27 offensive plays in the first half. They're going to get something going down on the ground, but their defense is going to be worn out in the fourth quarter.
Cepho Lufau, the junior QB, delivers on his first pass of the second half to Shea Fields for a gain of 5. When we say it was a slow start for Colorado, it was a very slow start for Colorado. Just 7 plays on the first 2 drives.
Colorado State's defense is largely responsible for that. A week ago against Minnesota, 5 of their first 6 drives were 3-and-outs. The 6th one was a 4-play drive that resulted in a forced fumble. This Colorado State defense is good. Colorado, the Buffaloes, are going to have to earn everything they get here in the second half.
On 2nd and 5, complete again. Back-to-back completions, both to Shea Fields, who had the 65-yard grab. He's the guy that you said needed to play a bigger role for the Bucs.
And he's getting more touches than we've seen him get in the first 2 ball games, and rightfully so. He's an electric playmaker, just sitting down with soft coverage there. Colorado State's going to have to make some adjustments.
Bucs go hurry up. Powell takes the handoff across the 45 with Fields blocking on the edge.
Powell is more of a physical between the tackles runner. He's a big body, but Philip Lindsay's kind of the lightning to his thunder. It's going to keep the Rams defense off balance if they keep switching up between those 2.
2nd and short. Powell takes it across midfield. 1st and 10 Colorado. Pierre Lewis, the free safety, on the stop, but the Bucs now into Ram territory. You talked about how getting that second half kickoff was going to be big for Colorado.
And here they are. They're across the 50 and getting a sustainable drive, and they're doing it because their offensive line is having some success behind the very early first down throws that back the Rams defense up.
Frazier in at fullback. Powell running behind him into the hole where he is met immediately and shoved back. Tyree Simmons, the junior nickelback. That's a 5'11", 185 guy flying into the hole without fear.
Yeah, these guys, again, with it being a rivalry game, 84 of these players, we heard Jenny Dell say at the top of the show, are from the state of Colorado in this area. There's a lot on the line for local bragging rights.
9th play of the drive. Buffs haven't faced a 3rd down on the drive yet. Lufau pressured back across his body, and now our first 3rd down with a nice catch by the spotter on the sideline from Mountain West.
I thought Lufau missed Philip Lindsay to the backside on a flare outside. I think he felt pressure and got a little bit of happy feet. If he had been able to stop and turn around, it would have put Lindsay in a one-on-one situation with nothing between him and that defender except the goal line.
Opening drive of the second half for Colorado.
Colorado State can get pressure with their front 4. They may bring pressure here, though. Here they come.
Lufau hit as he throws on 3rd and 8 to the end zone. Caught, touchdown. Devin Ross makes the grab. Lufau delivers through contact for his 2nd touchdown pass of the night.
Colorado State brought pressure that time, but Ross just fighting off the defender, tracks it. I don't know if you can get any closer coverage that time than Colorado State had, but just tremendous concentration and a pinpoint accurate throw for Cepho Lufau for the 24-yard touchdown.
Gonzalez PAT. Colorado on top for the first time in this 87th Rocky Mountain Showdown. Lufau saw the pressure coming, knew he was going to take the hit, and delivers the strike to put the Buffs on top in Denver. It was a 14-0 start for Colorado State on Colorado, but the Buffaloes respond. 17 straight now for Colorado. The first career touchdown grab for Devin Ross caps the touchdown drive. Sefo Lufau, a pair of touchdown passes on the night.
Really impressed with the play calling of Will Friend, of Brian Lindgren, Colorado's offensive coordinator, been really keeping Colorado State off balance.
This Rams kickoff, another touchback. Nick Stevens and the Rams. Toss goes to Dawkins, who's dropped by Ryan Moeller, one of the many Buffaloes who was banged up in the first half and yet right back out there. The sophomore from Rifle, Colorado.
Well, this game is important to these guys, and again, Colorado State took control of this game early up front with this offensive line. But Colorado, to their credit, their front seven was playing stout and physical on the inside. I think that the Rams need to feed their playmakers on the edges and get those guys in space.
Dawkins behind the fullback, Fa'apito. Dawkins gets a nice block on the edge, and here goes Dalen Dawkins. Shoved out of bounds inside the 35. Ken Crawley finally gets his hands on the speedy sophomore. 42-yard gain for Dalen Dawkins.
Colorado trying to stop that inside run with a lead fullback. It's going to look like a dive, but this time they do a lead sweep to the outside, and Dawkins does the rest with his speed. The very thing I said right before that play was getting their playmakers out in space on the perimeter, and that's exactly what they do for the huge gain.
The nephew of Brian Dawkins, the longtime Eagle safety who ended his career as a Denver Bronco. Stevens under center. Play clock winding down again. This time he'll feed Oden. The senior bruising running back gets a couple. So let's look at the pass chart for Nick Stevens. And what does this tell you about the way Will Friend and Mike Bobo have been calling plays?
Well, they wanted to get him some confidence early. There was a lot of screen passes, a lot of swing passes, high percentage throws. That's great to get him going. And then he hit that long deep ball, but nothing intermediate or deep since then. But why would you when you're running the football as effectively as they are, keeping the Colorado team extremely off balance with this run game?
Oden takes it on 2nd and 6 and moves the chains to the 20. Oden takes it on 1st and goal. Not much there on the right side. Witherspoon flies in to make the tackle.
Colorado had the box loaded pretty well there. That's why I was thinking that they would go play action. That might have caught them by surprise. Now you're 2nd and 8. It's hard to be able to find room to operate down there because the field is so short. The defense can afford to play a little bit more aggressively. Colorado's having trouble lining up.
Oden stood up. It only took one Buffalo to bring him down, and it was Kenneth Olubode, the junior linebacker, to force 3rd and goal.
They got very lucky there. Olubode doing a good job of filling his gap, being patient right there. Nobody blocks him. I think that movement may have actually helped Colorado because nobody picked up Olubode, who plays that weak side will linebacker spot. He should have been blocked. That's a mental error for that Rams offensive line.
3rd and goal, all eyes on Rashard Higgins, number 82. Stevens, fade, Higgins, knocked away, incomplete. Crawley wins the matchup at the goal line.
Crawley's been playing out of his mind today. His body position. One of the things I notice about him watching tape is that he does a tremendous job of mirroring the receiver. Look how quickly he adjusts, reading his eyes. Now there was some contact there to be certain, but he was in very good position and knocked that ball away, forcing the field goal here. Ken Crawley may have himself a future in the NFL if he can D up one of the better receivers in the country like he did on that last play.
Wyatt Bryan, the redshirt freshman, 24 yards for the tie. First points since the first quarter for Colorado State. And we are even at 17 in the 87th Rocky Mountain Showdown.
Welcome back to to Denver. We are tied at 17, and 3 years ago in Aurora, Colorado, James Holmes opened fire in a movie theater and killed 12 and injured 70. Not one but two players on this field right now were in that very theater on that tragic night. Jordan Murphy, fullback for University of Colorado, was in the exact theater where the shooting took place and had to crawl to safety. Colorado State O-lineman Zach Goldich was in the room next door, and a bullet traveled through the wall into Goldich's neck. He said he's blessed to be alive. This past July, Holmes was found guilty of first-degree murder, and just last month, he was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Murphy said whenever the trial's in the news, it brings back thoughts of that night. Guys, for both his young men, football has been a major factor in helping them move forward.
And very thankful that neither Jordan Murphy nor Zach Goldich was harmed more seriously in that awful event. Braxton Davis, the kickoff specialist. Donovan Lee across the 20-yard line. Lee slipping his way to the 32. Donovan Lee, solid return out of the end zone. Philip Lindsay takes the first down handoff.
Seeing Colorado State bring some field pressure, but every time they do that, Colorado runs away from it. That time into the boundary, which is the short side of the field. The ball was on the right hash mark. Colorado clearly trying to get the ball out in space on the perimeter to their playmakers, because Colorado State hadn't been able to stop it in the second half.
Howell back in and running back with Lou Fowl. Howell takes it on 2nd and 8. Thinking about 3rd down and 5 as Kevin Davis, who has been very active today, Josh Watson combined for the tackle.
Colorado's been pretty decent on 3rd down so far this season. This is the most important down in the game of football, because it gives you an opportunity to move the chains, get a fresh set of downs, and try and score a touchdown. But Colorado State's going to do everything they can here to stop it. Middle of the field's open.
4 wide receivers on 3rd and 5. Over the middle, incomplete. Knocked away. No flags. Trent Matthews, this 5th-year senior out of the powerhouse Judson High School in Converse, Texas.
See him at the top of your screen. Just breaking on the ball, perfectly timed as the ball arrived to the receiver. He just bats it down. Good instincts and timing there, forcing the punt.
Trent Matthews, one of the guys that Mike Bobo said, if you talk about seniors who were buying in, their 3rd head coach during their time at Colorado State, Matthews didn't get a start in the opener. Bobo said he loved the response, that it was all about the team. Matthews with a huge play here on 3rd down. Kenny pins him inside the 20, bucks out of the Pac-12 South. It's Colorado State from the Mountain West Conference. That's Dalen Dawkins, the sophomore who is from Louisville, began his career at Purdue. Jimmy Gilbert on the stop.
Nice that time by Gilbert, filling that hole, scraping down the line of scrimmage. He's got those long old arms you see there. Those arms allow him to be able to press himself off the offensive lineman. It's really hard. You're on the other side of the ball trying to block somebody like that. If he can shoot his hands in, it's almost like when you're trying to fight your uncle and he's got his hand on your forehead and you try to beat you up.
This is
can't do it.
The end of the 3rd quarter. Media timeout.
All tied at 17 at the end of the 3rd. You're watching CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. It was a 14-0 start for Colorado State. Then the Buffaloes reeled off 17 straight. And as we go to the 4th quarter in the 87th meeting in front of 66,000 plus here at Mile High, even at 17, Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell. It's a 2nd down play for Nick Stevens, the sophomore quarterback. Stevens to the outside, going up to get it. Sammy Long, the sophomore, dances out of bounds. That's a guy who's 6'7" out of Lakewood, Washington, had only 2 catches in the first 2 games. But the Rams said they wanted to get the football into the hands of Sammy Long. 2 grabs tonight.
Yeah, and again, they're working the perimeter of this defense. That sets them up well to be able to counter back inside. But Colorado's been playing stout. So there's a little cat and mouse going on. I think the matchup tonight between defensive coordinator Jim Leavitt from Colorado and offensive coordinator from Will Friend has been a pretty dang good one.
Out of the eye, it's Oden who slips and falls right around midfield. Had Fa'apito in there at fullback to block for Oden, and he's frustrated.
Yeah, he just lost his footing. That brings up a second and long situation. He's just trying to cut backside with Fa'apito, and it looked like that Fa'apito was there. There might have been something there had he kept his feet.
That's offensive coordinator Will Friend, who was with Bobo in Georgia the last 4 years. Played O-line at Alabama for Gene Stallings. And his Ram offense on 2nd and 12. Fling it to the outside, complete to the 40-yard line. Higgins makes the grab, so that's 2 on this drive for Rashard Higgins.
They're playing Higgins off a little bit. I think they need to tighten up that coverage. They're respecting his deep game. We've seen him catch a 25-yard fade pass, but most of the stuff he's running is underneath so far. If I was Colorado, I'd kind of press him and try and jam him off the line of scrimmage a little bit. As soon as you do that, if you miss, you beat, and then he beats you deep. So you got to be careful, but I think you have to take your chances and stop giving up that underneath soft stuff.
Witherspoon now backs away. 5-yard cushion on 1st down. Rams run it. Oden again trying to cut back. Not much there. Olubude on the stop.
The play selection for Colorado State has been predominantly run in this second half and throughout the game, really. When you look at their passes when they've thrown on 1st down, it's been all or nothing. They had a 1 negative play, but they also had some gains of 10 yards, 23 yards. I think they need to get back to taking some chances with play action on 1st down if they get an opportunity here.
Stevens pumps. Deep shot intended for Higgins into double coverage. And incomplete.
Ball he should have never thrown. That's just a young quarterback trying to force the issue. He's feeling pretty good about throwing to Rashard Higgins. But look at the coverage here. The safety finally comes over. They bracket him. This is a ball that you just shouldn't throw. Got one on top, got one below, and both are inside with no sideline to work with. Nick Stevens got away with one there.
Bringing up 3rd and 8. Pressure on Stevens. Screen knocked away. Free football won by the Buffaloes. Intercepted. Brought back to the 30-yard line. The 10. Olubude touchdown. 60 yards on the pick 6. Buffaloes back on top. On his 20th birthday, Kenneth Olubude with a monster play for the Buffaloes.
That play started out with some good pressure up front. It's a screen. The offensive line are taught to be able to give ground, but the play broke down. Nick Stevens was forced to throw that football and telegraph that throw. Buffalo's defense reacted and came up with a huge play in the defensive touchdown here late in the 4th quarter.
Gonzalez with a PAT to make it 24-17. Buffaloes are having fun now.
Welcome back to Denver, where the Colorado Buffaloes just made a great play. They're going to run a stunt here on this side, and there's going to be Kenneth Olubude right there. Keep your eye on him. This is going to be a screen, but because of the early defensive pressure by the defensive line, Nick Stevens is forced to throw the football early. Rick Gamboa hits him, and Olubude tracks the football in the old tip drill, and then just a couple missed tackles and some speed later, number 31, Kenneth Olubude, on his 20th birthday, comes up with the biggest play of the second half and possibly the biggest play of this game.
8:50 to go. Colorado leads it after trailing 14-0 at the end of the 1st quarter. A season ago, it was the Buffaloes who had the early lead. The Rams came back. Now in 2015, in the 87th edition of the Rocky Mountain Showdown, it's the Buffaloes who have charged back. 8:50 to go. The Rams will get it after the kickoff from Chris Grant. Rams kickoff. Gaines will take a knee, so at the 25. Stevens, play action. After the INT, he goes right to Rashard Higgins. Higgins slipping away from the 40. So Stevens right after the pick on the screen to Rashard Higgins for 36.
It was a busted coverage. It looked like Colorado watched the two DBs, the one on the hash and the 30. They both get caught up by Hansley, and it's basically a pick play. And Rashard Higgins is wide open in the middle of the field for the big pickup on first down. Colorado State, again, had been running it, but when they throw on first down, they've been successful.
On the ground, Dawkins to the 29. The pick six by Olubode, who makes a stop on that last play on Dawkins. How about this? The first interception return for a touchdown since 2009 versus Central Arkansas.
Got a player down for Colorado.
I believe it's Foley Laguda, who was in his sophomore year, his first year as a Buffalo, played for Butler Community College last year, first year as a Buffalo. He was the one who was ejected for targeting in the first half last week against UMass.
He's going to have to come out of play, but that's actually good because it gives his defense some rest. And I'm not at all trying to say he's doing that on purpose, but after a big play, that's a great way to take the momentum out of the sails of this Colorado State team that I think desperately needs to score here to get some of this momentum back. They need to protect the football, keep working the edges, but in a game like this is back and forth. It's very important that Colorado State gets some sort of points here on the board off of this drive.
Stevens under center. Turns and hands to Dawkins. Has the first down to move the chains. You know, before this one even kicked off, Aaron, you talked about how important this game is for bowl aspirations for both Colorado and Colorado State.
Colorado State obviously is a 10-win team a year ago, was used to getting to bowl games, but there was a change of the guard, and when you lose a player like Garrett Grayson and Jim McElwain, the head coach, you're looking for your own identity. This is a new group of guys that is a unique scenario, and they have an opportunity to go to a bowl game, but this is a must-win, I think, for both of these programs, particularly Colorado.
Stevens throwing again on first down. Higgins has to knock it away, or it may have been picked by Owuzie.
Credit Jordan Carroll, the big nose tackle that had pressure on that screen pass, for being able to break that up. But again, we complimented Stevens about his ball location earlier on the series before this. That time it was off target, and the result was an incompletion.
Rashard Higgins going defensive back. On 2nd and 10, Dawkins slips away, takes a big pop as he gets to the 20, but still picks up 7. Olubode and Moeller make the stop.
There's another 2nd and 10 run selection, which is pretty common because offensive coordinators want to gain some ground up so that they've got a manageable 3rd down. But it's missed tackles here again by Colorado that makes this a much more makeable 3rd down situation for Colorado State. They were in position, they just missed it.
On 3rd and 3, Dawkins takes it, shoved back, didn't get anything. Justin Solis, the senior nose tackle, pops Dawkins. 4th down. There's field goal unit coming on.
Justin Solis, sorry about that, partner, is a big pancake eater in the inside there. And we talked about the field goals today for Colorado State. It hadn't been as pretty as maybe they would want. It came up short early in the first half. Went a little bit wide right here in the second half. This isn't necessarily a gimme for the Rams.
Mike Bobo brings the kicker back to the sideline, and he's going to send Nick Stevens and the offense back out for 4th and 3 from the 20.
I don't know if I like this call with 6 minutes left and all your timeouts or 2 of your 3. This seems like a pretty risky call with too much time left to be able to do it. Now remember, they could be faking it here and trying to draw Colorado off sides. But this, to me, seems like an unnecessary risk here in the fourth quarter.
Play clock winding down. 4th and 3 coming. Stevens on the roll. Complete. Converting on 4th down. Hansley shakes his way inside the 10. The Rams convert. Bobo brings the kicking unit off. The offense back on, and it's 1st and goal.
And credit Rashard Higgins for the nice pick to be able to create a wide open opportunity for Hansley. He's got to feel good about that.
The first-year head coach of the Rams. It's 1st and goal. Oden takes a big pop. Falls forward to near the 2.
Now look at Colorado's body language. They seem stunned right now. They've got to be able to shake off that last play and find a way to get a stop here and force a field goal. Hands on their hip, no sense of urgency. This is where the leadership of that team and those 12 leadership council players need to dig deep and find a way to keep this Colorado State team that's proven an ability to get into the red zone. You got to bow your neck and find a way.
2nd and goal from the 3. Jumbo package. Oden takes it. Oden stretching to near the 1. Still stretching, still pushing. Now Oden finally down just short of the goal line. It'll be 3rd and goal from inside the 1.
That offensive line for Colorado State has played a pretty dang good job. Played a pretty good dang. Just played well tonight.
3rd and goal from the 1. Stevens to Oden. At the goal line, shoves, and he is in for the touchdown. After the 4th down conversion, Colorado State finds the end zone. A PAT away from tying it again. Bryan for the PAT. The freshman boots it through, even at 24 with 4:29 to go. What a call by Mike Bobo and the Rams. They go for it on 4th down, convert, and then Jason Oden Jr., the senior, the converted safety, muscles his way in, tied at 24.
This is a great example of how good a football these rivalry games can be. This is a heavyweight fight. That's why you have to keep your composure, not panic, and just simply execute. The team that executes for these next 4.5 minutes the best will walk away victorious and be one step closer to getting to a bowl game this year.
What a response by the Rams after the pick 6 to come back with a 10-play touchdown drive. Higgins got it started with the big grab. Out to the 25-yard line.
I don't know how aggressive Colorado State's going to be here. If they're in press, I would try and feed the ball to Shea Fields. If you expect pressure, maybe run some screens. But with 3 timeouts, you can call anything.
Who foul the Buffaloes from the 20. There's the slant complete to the outside. It is Nelson Spruce who makes the catch. Under a minute. Buffaloes hurry.
What you're trying to do if you're Colorado is throw those short underneath passes or work the sidelines, but with 3 timeouts, you want those safeties to start sucking up and then take a shot downfield.
Lou foul gonna dump it incomplete. Confusion there as Lindsey was releasing out of the backfield, stops it with 35 seconds. Still 3 timeouts all the way back at your own 28.
And here's the problem with that last play. You have to have a sense of urgency. They've bled over 25 seconds off this clock and have only gone about 6 yards. That's not good enough.
That 52-yarder was earlier today for Diego Gonzalez. Also had one blocked. Colorado struggled on 3rd down.
Oh, wow.
No flag on the outside as Lindsey was tangled up with Kevin Davis.
Thought Davis might have got away with one there.
There is a flag down to the backfield.
Personal foul, roughing the passer.
Whoa.
31, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
Fifth-year senior Corey James made so many plays for this team. You see him it almost looked like he grabbed the face mask and pulled him down. Yes, he did. Can't do it. That can lose you ball games right there, and that's one of the best playmakers on the defensive side of the ball that the Rams have seen in years.
Giving the Buffaloes another chance. 1st and 10, 30 seconds. Loathing, deep shot, incomplete, intended for Shea Fields.
Colorado's got to be careful here. They may have to take a deep shot. It's not good that it's 2nd and 10, but you have 3 more plays to be able to at least get 10 yards with all of your timeouts. But Colorado, Carter, really has to be careful because they're burning clock here. There's only 23 seconds left, and if it weren't for that penalty that helped to move the ball down the field, they just might once again, run out of enough time to finish a game.
Loathing on 2nd and 10. Looking for another deep shot. Throws it incomplete to the sideline. That one looks like it just slipped away. So 3rd and 10, 16 seconds.
That last play didn't get them any yards and bled 7 seconds off the clock. If you use that last play as a model, Colorado only has 2 opportunities here. They've got to take a downfield shot.
To try and set up Diego Gonzalez. If they can get it to the 35-yard line, it would be a 52-yard attempt. What he hit earlier.
Keep your eye down here with this cluster there. Shea Fields is at the top.
Loathing pressured. He has room. Tucks it. Scrambling. Diving. Fumbles it out of bounds. Did he get the first down? Clock stops 9 seconds. Where was Loathing out of bounds? Short of the first down, but at the 47. 9 seconds.
You have 2 opportunities at the most to convert this. Obviously, with it being 4th down, maybe you try and run and take a timeout right after and then take a Hail Mary shot. Even though this is 4th and short, you've got one of the best possession receivers in the country in Nelson Spruce, who does an unbelievable job of catching footballs in traffic in short areas and getting himself open. Colorado offensively has a couple different options here. It just depends which philosophy they want to take. You may wonder if they feel like they've got enough to win an overtime situation, because they could feasibly get a 10, 15, 20-yard gain right here and kick a field goal because of the timeout situation. So it isn't necessarily an all or nothing or end zone or nothing situation here.
9 seconds. This is 4th down for Loathing and the Buffaloes. With Fields in motion. Loathing wants the deep shot over the middle. Caught. It's Nelson Spruce. He's down to the 31-yard line, signaling timeout. Clock stops as the chains move. Timeout will be granted. Gonzalez will have a chance to win it.
Timeout. Colorado. 2nd of the half. 30 seconds in length.
We talked about quarterbacks making big plays. Loathing does a good job of just hitting the dig route of Nelson Spruce. We talked about his ability to be a great possession receiver. They just run a clear out. The middle of the field's wide open, and Loathing drops his biggest pass of the night, setting up the field goal for the win.
Earlier, Diego Gonzalez, a 52-yard field goal. The junior from Guadalupe, Mexico, has never had a game-winning kick in his career. Not at Monterrey Tech in Mexico, not at the University of Colorado. Gonzalez from 48 for the win. No timeouts left for the Rams. 48-yarder on the way from Gonzalez. The 48-yarder is no good, and we're going to overtime in the Rocky Mountain Showdown.
Hit it fat.
Just keep it rolling between the Buffaloes and the Rams. A frustrated Diego Gonzalez, the 48-yarder. Not even close. So at the end of regulation, 24-all. Overtime coming in Denver between the Rams and the Buffaloes. We'll see an OT in Denver. Colorado was the double overtime loss to UCLA last year. Another one of those heartbreaking losses for the Buffaloes. Last week, Colorado State in overtime losing to Minnesota in Fort Collins. So back-to-back overtime games for the Rams. Nick Stevens, play action on first down. Looking for the check down, incomplete. Had his tight end, Cartwright, who just didn't make the catch. There is a flag down.
Cartwright didn't expect that football so quickly.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer with targeting. Number 98 defense.
Remember, Colorado State had a situation where his 3rd and 2 is incomplete, but they roughed the passer to give Colorado a fresh set of downs to move the ball. You've got to be smarter than this. Drops his head, hits him right in the helmet. That's going to be targeting, and he's going to get ejected.
So the junior defensive end, Jimmy Gilbert, out of the game for Colorado.
So this is, again, where the leadership needs to step up. If you're Colorado, you can't fold your tent and go home. You just lost one of your better playmakers, this next guy in. But more importantly, you got to have a sense of urgency here and believe that you can get a stop and at the very least force a field goal.
Nick Stevens and the Rams. 1st and 10 on the Buffalo 13. Top of the first overtime. Out of the eye, Oden through contact, pushing inside the 10. Olubode finally makes the stop on Jason Oden Jr. We haven't seen Dalen Dawkins on the field for the Rams.
And again, another missed tackle, that time by 92 Jordan Carroll. Did a nice job of beating his man at the point of attack on the offensive line. He hit the back in the backfield. It allowed him to get another 4 yards after contact.
On 2nd and 6, feeding Oden again. Slipping back inside to the 7. Going to be 3rd down and about 4.
2 good stops that time by the front 7 of Colorado on back-to-back plays. With this short of field, you got Rashard Higgins, who's got tremendous leaping ability and body control. He'll be at the bottom of your screen against Ken Crawley. We saw this matchup earlier, and Higgins came out on the right side. This time he's on Awuzie. That's a great matchup. They should go down low.
Stevens looks the other way. Bobbled by Oden. He's wrestled down back at the 10. McCartney and the Buffaloes rally to the football to force 4th down. Stevens never even looked at Rashard Higgins.
No, he didn't. That would have been my go-to guy. At the very least, maybe you get a personal or pass interference call, but he throws right at their best cornerback, Ken Crawley, who comes up and makes a tremendous tackle. When you have Rashard Higgins over Awuzie, that's a matchup you have to take. Colorado elects not to. Who's going to kick the field goal?
Wyatt Bryan, 1 for 3. Good hold. 27-yarder is no good. Colorado will have the football. A field goal wins it for the Buffaloes. The 27-yarder is blocked. Tedrick Thompson.
Just going to be off this outside edge. Tedrick Thompson with a great play. The wingman and the tight end on that side don't get a block. They let him get a free run. And he blocks that with his inside middle part of his tricep.
24 all even in overtime. Colorado football 1 for 4, a blocked field goal on both sides. So Diego Gonzalez may have a chance at redemption.
We should see 3 runs here with the last inning up in the middle of the field for the field goal try.
Lou Fowl hands to Powell. There's the first run. Takes a huge pop. Gets 5 to the 20.
If you're a ball carrier, all you're thinking about is possession.
Utah Fresno State right now on CBSSports.com. We'll get you there as soon as we're done in Denver.
Protect the football. Center quarterback exchange. The handoff at the mesh point. This is basic football execution to win this football game.
Would be a 37-yarder from here. They give it again to the senior Powell. Stretching, he has a first down inside the 15. Powell wrestled down at the 13-yard line. A new set of downs for the Buffaloes. Mike McIntyre said he loved how angry his team was after the heartbreaking loss in Hawaii to open the season. Saw it last week in the dominating win over UMass. Now Concepto, Lufau, and the Buffaloes close it out in OT against their rival, the Rams. 1st and 10 from the 13. Lufau hands off Philip Lindsay, the sophomore from Aurora. You expect more of the same.
No question. You do not put this football in the air. You run your basic base runs, the things that everybody knows what to do, that you are most confident in. All you are trying to do is maintain possession of this football to allow Gonzalez to make a chip shot for the win.
Second and 9, middle of the field. Lufau's going to run and take a knee. Turn around and hand the football directly to the referee, taking no chances.
And the reason they did that on 2nd down is because if there's a muffed snap here, they can fall on it and still have an opportunity to kick it again on 4th down. Very good heads-up strategy that time by the Buffalo staff.
Mike Bobo has 1 timeout this time. First game-winning attempt from Gonzalez. He had 2 timeouts and used them all. Gonzalez, 32-yarder for the win. Boots it through, and Colorado wins the 2015 edition of the Rocky Mountain Showdown in overtime. Back-to-back overtime losses for Mike Bobo in Colorado State. The Centennial Cup will head back to Boulder.
Perfect execution. The left-footed kicker puts it right between the uprights and finds redemption, but more importantly, gets the win that this program needs to turn the corner and start the rebuilding process.
Gonzalez and the Buffaloes celebrate the win 27-24 over Colorado State. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network. For Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell, our entire crew, I'm Carter Blackburn. Now we send you on to Utah Fresno State. Dave Ryan standing by.